The massive council chamber hummed with nervous energy as 12 different alien species gathered around the floating platform in the center. The air itself seemed thick with worry and confusion. Commander Zixthala of the Hegemony stood up, her 6 arms moving in patterns that showed deep concern. "Fellow council members," she began, her voice carrying across the chamber through translation devices. "We face a problem unlike anything in our recorded history. 7 of our most powerful fleets have vanished without a trace." The other aliens shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Some had scales that changed color when they were nervous. Others had tentacles that curled and uncurled with anxiety. The crystalline beings from Nexar Prime made soft chiming sounds that meant they were troubled. Zixthala activated a holographic display that showed a small blue planet orbiting a yellow star. "This is the planet they call Earth. It sits in the outer edge of our galaxy. The species living there has barely learned to travel between planets. Their technology should be thousands of years behind ours." The display changed to show 7 different fleet symbols, each one crossed out with a red mark. The Vorthan Empire sent their Crimson Fleet 50 Earth years ago. 300 ships with weapons that could crack moons in half. They never came back. A low rumble came from the Vorthan representative, a massive creature covered in thick armor plates. The Crimson Fleet was unstoppable. They conquered 12 star systems in 1 year. How could primitives defeat them? "That's not all," Zixthala continued. "The Nexari sent their reality-bending warships 30 years ago. Ships that could exist in multiple dimensions at once. Gone. The Kethmore launched their biomechanical swarms 20 years ago. Ships that could heal themselves and adapt to any weapon. Vanished." The chamber filled with worried chatter in dozens of different languages. Some aliens communicated through color changes on their skin. Others used telepathy that made the air shimmer. A few species just sat in stunned silence. "The energy beings of Plasma Prime tried next," Zixthala said, her voice getting more serious. "Their stellar destroyers could turn entire suns into weapons. They disappeared 15 years ago. The Axis Collective sent their most advanced robot ships 10 years ago, ships with artificial intelligence that could outthink any organic mind. Nothing." She paused to let the information sink in. "The Zephyrians deployed their mind control armada 5 years ago. They could make entire planets surrender without firing a shot. They never reported back. Most recently, the Chronos Syndicate sent their time-warping vessels, ships that could attack from the past and future at the same time. They vanished just 6 months ago." The silence in the chamber was complete. Even the mechanical sounds from the Axis Collective representative had stopped. Finally, an elderly Zephyrian named Elder Morthak spoke up. His large head pulsed with purple light as he used telepathy to address the group. "This makes no sense," his thoughts reached everyone. "We have detailed scans of this Earth. The humans there fight with crude chemical weapons. They barely have fusion power. Their fastest ships take months to travel between their own planets." "Exactly," said Zixthala. "That's what makes this so terrifying. 7 different civilizations, each with technology that should make them gods compared to humans. All of them sent their strongest fleets. All of them confident of easy victory. None of them ever returned." The Kethmore representative, a writhing mass of organic machinery, spoke through biospeakers that grew from its body. "Perhaps they were destroyed by some natural phenomenon. A black hole or stellar explosion." "We checked," Zixthala replied. "The star system is stable. No dangerous cosmic events in the past 100 years. Besides, our fleets were equipped to handle such things. The Vorthon ships could survive inside a star. The Nexari vessels existed partially outside normal space. Whatever happened to them, it wasn't natural." A new voice joined the discussion. Captain Velthar of the Oberth Coalition had been quietly studying the data. His species was known for their scientific approach to everything, including warfare. "I've been analyzing the energy signatures from that region of space. There are debris fields scattered throughout the system." He activated his own holographic display. "These fragments match the materials used in our missing fleets. Vorthan battle steel that can withstand the heat of a star's core, shattered Nexari crystals that exist in multiple dimensions, destroyed Kethmore bioships that should be able to regenerate from a single cell." The chamber erupted in shocked exclamations. Scales rattled, tentacles writhed, and telepathic static filled the air. The implications were clear and terrifying. "Are you saying," asked the Vorthan representative slowly, "that these primitive humans somehow destroyed 7 of the most powerful fleets in the galaxy?" "That's exactly what I'm saying," Belthar replied. But I don't understand how. The humans shouldn't even be able to scratch the paint on our ships, let alone destroy them completely. Elder Morthak's head pulsed with deep red light, a sign of extreme concern among his people. Perhaps we underestimated them. Perhaps they have hidden weapons or allies we don't know about. Or perhaps, said Zixthala grimly, there's something about this species that we don't understand, something that makes them far more dangerous than their technology suggests. The debate that followed lasted for hours. Some council members wanted to quarantine the entire solar system and forbid anyone from going near it. Others suggested sending a massive combined fleet that would be too large for even mysterious humans to destroy. A few thought they should try to make peaceful contact first. Finally, Velthar stood up again. I propose we send a small investigation fleet. Not to attack, but to observe from a safe distance. We need to understand what happened to our people before we can decide what to do next. And if your investigation fleet disappears too, asked the Vorthan representative. Then we'll know for certain that Earth is the most dangerous planet in the galaxy, Velthar replied. And we'll need to decide whether to avoid it forever, or find a way to destroy it before these humans become a threat to all of us. The vote was close, but the council agreed to Velthar's plan. As the meeting ended and the various aliens departed for their ships, a feeling of dread hung over the chamber. For the first time in galactic history, a primitive species had become something to fear. In the depths of space, the small blue planet continued its quiet orbit around its yellow star, unaware that it had become the subject of galactic concern. But somewhere on its surface, humans were looking up at the stars and preparing for whatever might come next. Captain Velthar stood on the bridge of his research vessel, watching the yellow star grow larger on the main screen. The ship moved slowly through space, its advanced sensors reaching out like invisible fingers to touch everything in the solar system. 3 other ships followed behind, each one packed with the best scientific equipment the Oberth Coalition could provide. Maintain distance, Velthar ordered his crew. I want us far enough away that we can escape if something goes wrong. His chief scientist, Dr. Linessa, looked up from her scanner station. Her pale blue skin had taken on a darker shade, which meant she was worried. Captain, I'm detecting massive debris fields throughout this system. The wreckage is spread across millions of kilometers. Show me, Velthar said. The main screen changed to display a map of the solar system. Red dots marked debris scattered everywhere, from the inner planets all the way out to the frozen edges of space. Some clusters were huge, like the remains of entire fleets. Others were small, just fragments floating in the dark. Computer, analyze the debris composition, Linessa commanded. Analysis complete, the ship's computer replied in its calm voice. Fragments contain materials from all 7 missing fleets. Fourth-hand battle steel, Nexari dimensional crystals, Kethmore bioorganic components, Plasma prime energy matrices, Axis collective smart metal, Zephyrian psionic amplifiers, and Chrono syndicate temporal stabilizers. Velthar felt a chill run down his spine. All 7 fleets are really gone. But how? What could have done this? His weapons officer, Lieutenant Kexivor, spoke up from his station. Captain, some of this debris shows signs of kinetic impact damage, but other pieces look like they were torn apart by energy weapons or biological acids. That's impossible, said Dr. Linessa. Each fleet should have required completely different weapons to defeat. The Vorthon ships were armored against energy attacks. The Nexari vessels existed partially outside normal space. The Kethmore bioships could adapt to any weapon used against them. Unless, Velthar said slowly, whatever attacked them adapted to each fleet individually. The bridge fell silent as everyone considered this possibility. Finally, the communications officer raised her hand. Captain, I'm intercepting radio signals from the 3rd planet. The humans are communicating with each other. Put it through the translator, Velthar ordered. Static filled the bridge speakers, followed by human voices speaking in dozens of different languages. The translation computer worked quickly to convert the words into something the aliens could understand. Earth Defense Command to all stations. Patrol ships report no hostile contacts in the outer system. Space Dock 7 to incoming transport. You are cleared for docking. Welcome home, Admiral Morrison. Lunar Base 3 to Earth Command. The new weapon prototypes are ready for testing. Dr. Linessa looked confused. They have an organized military, and they're building weapons. This doesn't match our intelligence reports. Computer, scan the human communication networks for historical data. Belthar commanded. For the next several hours, the investigation team listened to human broadcasts and analyzed their data networks. What they discovered painted a picture that was both fascinating and terrifying. "Captain," Linessa said, her skin now dark blue with shock, "these humans have been fighting each other for their entire recorded history. They've had thousands of wars. They've survived ice ages, plagues that killed millions, and natural disasters that should have wiped them out completely." She brought up displays showing human military equipment. "Look at their weapons. These aren't the crude tools we expected. They have nuclear weapons that can destroy entire cities, chemical weapons that can kill everything in huge areas, biological weapons that target specific genetic markers. But that still doesn't explain how they defeated our fleets," the weapons officer protested. "Nuclear weapons are powerful, but they're nothing compared to stellar destroyers or reality-bending technology." "Keep scanning," Belthar ordered. "There has to be more." They found it in the human military databases. Files marked classified and top secret that detailed encounters with what the humans called hostile extraterrestrial forces. "Dear ancestors," Linessa whispered as she read the reports. "They've been keeping records of every attack." The files were detailed and methodical. Each alien invasion was documented with careful analysis of enemy tactics, weapons, and weaknesses. The humans had studied their attackers during battle, learning how to counter their advantages and exploit their weak points. "Look at this report from Admiral Jake Morrison," Linessa said, highlighting a section of text. "It describes how they defeated the Vorthon fleet by using their own energy weapons against them. The humans captured damaged ships, reverse-engineered the technology, and built weapons specifically designed to penetrate Vorthon armor. More files revealed similar tactics against each fleet. The humans had learned to disrupt Nexari dimensional technology, using modified electromagnetic pulses. They had developed bioweapons that could target the Kethmore hive mind communication system. They had found ways to overload plasma prime energy matrices and corrupt Axis collective artificial intelligence. "This is unprecedented," Belthar said, studying the data. "They're learning from their enemies. Each attack makes them stronger." "It gets worse," Linessa reported. "According to these files, they've been integrating alien technology into their own systems. Their current weapons are hybrids of human engineering and captured alien technology." The investigation team spent days analyzing human communications and military records. They discovered that Earth now had orbital defense platforms, lunar military bases, and patrol fleets that used technology from all 7 defeated alien civilizations. "They're not just defending themselves anymore," the weapons officer observed. "These humans are preparing for offensive operations." Dr. Linessa pulled up more recent intelligence reports. Human scout ships have been detected beyond their solar system. They're exploring nearby star systems and building forward observation posts. Belthar studied the information with growing alarm. "They're not the primitive species we thought they were. They're apex predators who have been training for galactic warfare their entire evolutionary history." "What do you mean?" asked the communications officer. "Think about it," Belthar explained. "Most species evolved on stable worlds with few natural disasters. We developed technology slowly and peacefully, but humans evolved on a death world where survival required constant adaptation and innovation." He gestured to the data on the main screen. "Every war they fought taught them new tactics. Every disaster they survived made them more resilient. Every challenge they overcame prepared them for the next one. When we started sending fleets to conquer them, we weren't attacking primitives. We were giving advanced weapons to the most dangerous species in the galaxy." The bridge fell silent as everyone absorbed this revelation. Finally, Linessa spoke in a quiet voice. "Captain, what do we tell the Council?" Belthar stared at the small blue planet on the screen. Somewhere down there, billions of humans were going about their daily lives, unaware that they had become the most feared species in the galaxy. "We tell them the truth," he said finally. "We tell them that Earth isn't just another planet. It's the birthplace of a species that turns every defeat into a lesson and every enemy into a teacher. We tell them that humanity is no longer prey." He paused, watching the planet spin slowly in the darkness of space. "And we tell them that the galaxy will never be the same." Admiral Jake Morrison stood in the war room deep beneath North American Defense Command, staring at the wall covered with photos and data about alien encounters. Each section told the story of how humanity had faced impossible odds and somehow survived. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of computers processing data from across the solar system. "Sir," said Captain Lisa Rodriguez, entering the room with a tablet in her hand. "The investigation team from the Oberth Coalition is still watching us from the outer system. They've been there for 3 weeks now." "Let them watch," Morrison replied. "Maybe they'll learn something." Morrison walked over to the first section of the wall, where faded photos showed the wreckage of massive alien ships burning in Earth's atmosphere. 50 years ago, when the Vorthon Crimson Fleet arrived, we had nothing but nuclear weapons and chemical rockets. They thought we'd surrender in minutes. The photos told a different story. Pictures of human fighter pilots flying suicide missions into the heart of alien dreadnoughts. Images of soldiers carrying nuclear backpacks into crashed alien ships. Video footage of Captain Rodriguez herself, 20 years younger, leading a squadron of modified fighter jets that somehow penetrated Vorthon energy shields. "How did we do it?" Rodriguez asked, even though she knew the story by heart. "We did what humans always do," Morrison said. "We adapted. When their energy shields stopped our missiles, we learned to overload them with electromagnetic pulses. When their armor proved too strong, we found weak points in their ship designs. When their weapons were too powerful, we used their own technology against them." He moved to the next section, which showed the crystalline remains of Nexari warships scattered across the Pacific Ocean. The Nexari thought their dimensional technology made them untouchable. Ships that existed in multiple realities at once. But Colonel Danny Brooks figured out how to disrupt their dimensional anchors using modified radar transmitters. The photos in this section were even more dramatic. Special Forces teams boarding ships that flickered in and out of existence. Dr. Patricia Wells working around the clock to reverse engineer dimensional technology while battles raged overhead. Soldiers wearing experimental armor that let them exist partially outside normal space. "The funny thing is," Morrison continued, "they always underestimated us because our technology looked primitive. They never realized that human warfare isn't about having the best weapons. It's about using whatever you have in ways your enemy doesn't expect." Rodriguez nodded as she looked at pictures of the Kethmore invasion. The biomechanical ships had been terrifying, growing and adapting in real time as humans attacked them. But General Kevin Price had organized resistance cells that remained hidden even when the aliens' hive mind tried to take control of human thoughts. "Price was brilliant," Morrison said, reading her thoughts. "While the aliens were trying to assimilate us, he was studying them, learning how their collective consciousness worked, finding ways to turn their greatest strength into a weakness." The photos showed the aftermath of that strategy. Kethmore bioships turning on each other as their communication networks were corrupted by human-designed viruses. Carol Evans working in hidden laboratories to develop biological weapons that could target the aliens' shared nervous system. Human soldiers immune to mental control because they had learned to think in ways the hive mind couldn't understand. Each invasion taught us something new, Morrison explained as they moved through the different sections. The plasma prime energy beings showed us how to manipulate matter at the quantum level. The Axis collective robots taught us about artificial intelligence and self-repairing systems. The Zephyrians revealed the secrets of telepathic communication. The most recent section showed debris from the Chronos Syndicate's time-warping vessels. These had been the most dangerous enemies yet. Ships that could attack from multiple points in time simultaneously. But somehow, Commander Terry Hall and his tactical teams had found a way to create temporal feedback loops that trapped the alien ships in endless time paradoxes. The key, Morrison said, was understanding that time manipulation requires enormous amounts of energy. Once we figured out how to drain their temporal batteries, their advanced technology became a liability instead of an advantage. Rodriguez studied the photos of human soldiers wearing armor made from alien materials, carrying weapons that combined human engineering with technology from 7 different civilizations. "Admiral, do you ever wonder if we've become something different? Something the old Earth wouldn't recognize?" Morrison was quiet for a long moment. "Every single day. 50 years ago, we were just another species struggling to reach our own moon. Now we have weapons that can crack planets and technology that lets us see across dimensions. We've become something that would terrify our own ancestors." He gestured to a new section of the wall, where construction photos showed massive orbital platforms being built around Earth and the Moon. Dr. Michelle Foster's team has integrated technology from all 7 alien civilizations. Our new ships are faster than Vorthon dreadnoughts, tougher than Nixari dimensional vessels, and more adaptable than Kethmore bioships. The Sol defense grid is just the beginning, Rodriguez observed. Looking at images of the defensive platforms, General Steve Carter says we'll have the entire system fortified within 2 years. That's not what worries me, Morrison said quietly. What worries me is what comes next. He walked to a large map showing the local region of the galaxy. Red markers indicated star systems where human scout ships had been detected. Blue markers showed systems where humans had established monitoring stations. Green markers indicated systems where humans had made contact with local species. We're not just defending Earth anymore, Morrison explained. We're expanding, setting up forward bases, making contact with potential allies, preparing for whatever the galaxy throws at us next. Rodriguez followed his gaze to the outer edge of the map. Do you think they'll try again? Send more fleets? They will, Morrison said with certainty. Right now they're confused and scared. But eventually, some alien empire will decide that humans are too dangerous to be allowed to exist. They'll gather every ship they can find and try to wipe us out before we become a real threat. And when they do, Morrison smiled grimly as he looked at the photos covering the walls. Pictures of human ingenuity, determination, and the absolute refusal to surrender even when facing impossible odds. When they do, they'll discover that they're 50 years too late. We're not the same species that barely survived the Vorthon invasion. He activated a holographic display that showed the current human military strength. Hundreds of ships patrolling the solar system. Thousands of soldiers trained in alien combat techniques. Weapons that combined the best technology from 8 different civilizations. We've learned the most important lesson the galaxy had to teach us, Morrison said. Out there among the stars, only the strong survive. And thanks to 7 different alien invasions, humanity has become very, very strong. Rodriguez looked at the display showing human ships spread across dozens of star systems. Admiral, there's something else. Our long-range sensors have detected energy signatures from beyond the galactic rim. Something big is coming this way. Morrison nodded slowly. Then we'd better be ready. Because the next time aliens come to Earth, they won't be invading a primitive world. He gestured to the images of human ships armed with alien technology and crewed by veterans of interstellar warfare. They'll be challenging the most dangerous species in the galaxy on its home ground, and that's a fight they're not going to win. Captain Velthar had been studying human communications for 6 weeks, and what he discovered made his blood run cold. The investigation team's initial reports were already terrifying, but the deeper they dug into human military networks, the more horrifying the truth became. Dr. Leonessa, he called to his chief scientist, show me that analysis of human industrial capacity again. Leonessa's skin had turned almost black with worry as she pulled up the data. Captain, in the 50 years since the first alien contact, human production has increased by over 3,000%. They've built orbital factories, asteroid mining operations, and manufacturing centers throughout their solar system. The main screen showed images of massive construction projects, space elevators reaching from Earth's surface to orbital platforms, automated factories on the moon churning out weapons and ships, mining operations in the asteroid belt, harvesting materials at an incredible rate. They're not just building defenses, Leonessa continued. They're preparing for war on a galactic scale. Velthar studied the industrial data with growing alarm. How many ships can they produce? Based on current construction rates, they can build 50 warships per month, each one equipped with hybrid technology from all 7 defeated alien civilizations. The weapons officer, Lieutenant Kexivor, looked up from his scanner station. Captain, I've been analyzing their new ship designs. They've taken the best features from every alien fleet they've faced and combined them into something unprecedented. The screen changed to show technical specifications of human vessels, ships with Vorthon armor plating and energy weapons, Nexari dimensional drives that let them exist in multiple realities, Kethmore biocomputers that could adapt their systems in real time, Plasma Prime quantum shields, Axis collective artificial intelligence, Zephyrian telepathic communication networks, Chronos Syndicate temporal manipulation technology. Dear ancestors, Velthar whispered. They've created the perfect warship. It gets worse, Kexivor continued. Their new vessels are commanded by human officers who have combat experience against every major alien technology in the galaxy. They know our weaknesses because they've fought us all. Linessa pulled up personnel files that the investigation team had managed to access. Commander Terry Hall now leads something called Earth Space Command. He's the one who defeated the Chronos Syndicate by creating temporal feedback loops. Dr. Michelle Foster heads their Xenotechnology division. She's successfully integrated alien technologies into human weapons systems. The files showed a military organization that had evolved from desperate defenders into a sophisticated fighting force. General Steve Carter commanded orbital defense platforms that could destroy entire fleets. Admiral Morrison had reorganized Earth's scattered military forces into a unified command structure capable of coordinating operations across multiple star systems. They're not just soldiers anymore, Velthar realized. They're veterans of the most advanced warfare in galactic history. Captain, the communications officer interrupted. I'm detecting human ships beyond their solar system. Long-range scouts have been spotted in the Proxima Centauri system. Velthar felt his heart skip a beat. How many ships? Just 3, but they're not hiding. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, announcing their presence to anyone listening. The main screen showed intercepted communications from the human scout ships. The messages were simple but chilling in their implications. This is Captain Ben Parker of the Earth Expeditionary Force. We come in peace to any friendly civilizations. We also come prepared to defend ourselves against any hostile actions. They're making contact with other species, Linessa observed. Building alliances. Or scouting targets, Kexvor added grimly. Velthar accessed the investigation team's analysis of human expansion patterns. The data painted a picture that would terrify the Galactic Council. Human ships had been detected in over 20 star systems. Some were establishing monitoring stations. Others were making contact with primitive civilizations. A few were surveying worlds rich in rare materials. They're following standard colonization protocols, Velthar realized. But these aren't primitive explorers. These are experienced military forces expanding into territory they intend to claim. The investigation continued to reveal more disturbing facts. Human intelligence networks had successfully infiltrated several alien communication systems. They knew about the Galactic Council's debates regarding Earth. They understood that some species wanted to destroy them before they became too powerful. Captain, Linessa said, her voice barely above a whisper. I found something in their classified files. Project Starfall. The screen displayed plans for human operations beyond their home system. Not just exploration or colonization, but military campaigns designed to secure strategic resources and eliminate potential threats. They're planning preemptive strikes, Velthar said, reading the documents, against any species they identify as hostile to human expansion. The target list was extensive. Several Galactic Council member species were marked as potential threats requiring neutralization. The plans were detailed and sophisticated, showing tactical analyses of alien military capabilities and strategies for defeating them. Look at this assessment of Vorthon military doctrine, Kexvor pointed out. They know exactly how to counter our weapons and tactics. They've studied us for 50 years. Linessa brought up another section of the files. Project Guardian calls for the establishment of human military bases in 100 star systems within 20 years. Project Aegis outlines plans for a defensive network that would protect human space from any possible invasion. And Project Sword? Velthar asked, though he already feared the answer. Offensive operations designed to eliminate any species that poses a threat to human survival, Linessa read from the classified document. The humans have identified the Galactic Council as the primary obstacle to their expansion. The bridge fell silent as everyone absorbed this information. The investigation team had come expecting to find the aftermath of mysterious alien defeats. Instead, they had discovered a species that had been transformed by warfare into something the galaxy had never seen before. They're not defending anymore, Velthar said finally. They're hunting. He studied the tactical displays showing human ship movements throughout the local region of space. Each vessel was positioned to provide maximum intelligence gathering, while maintaining the ability to strike quickly at multiple targets. Every alien invasion taught them something new, he continued. Every defeat showed them our weaknesses. Every victory made them stronger. We didn't just fail to conquer them. We trained them to conquer us. What do we tell the Council? Asked the communications officer. Velthar looked at the data streams flowing across his screens. Information about human military capabilities, expansion plans, and strategic objectives. Evidence that humanity had evolved from a primitive species into the most dangerous predator in the galaxy. We tell them that the age of human isolation is over, he said. We tell them that every species in the galaxy now faces a choice. Ally with humanity, surrender to them, or be destroyed by them. He gestured to the tactical display showing human ships spreading across known space like a growing infection. And we tell them that thanks to our own arrogance and stupidity, we created this situation ourselves. Every fleet we sent to conquer Earth just made them more dangerous. Every weapon we used against them became a weapon they could use against us. Linessa's skin had turned completely black, the darkest shade her species could achieve. Captain, there's one more thing. According to these files, the humans believe more alien species will discover Earth eventually, species from outside our galaxy, so they're preparing for that too. Project Horizon calls for human expansion beyond our galaxy within 100 years. They're not just planning to dominate local space, they're planning to dominate the universe. Belthar stared at the small blue planet that had become the birthplace of galactic conquest. Somewhere down there, billions of humans were preparing for wars that hadn't been fought yet, against enemies they hadn't met yet, using weapons they hadn't built yet. Send a message to the Council, he ordered. Tell them to prepare for the new reality. The humans are coming and nothing in the galaxy can stop them. The emergency session of the Galactic Council had been going on for 3 days, and the chamber was filled with more tension than anyone could remember. Captain Velthar stood at the center platform, surrounded by holographic displays showing the devastating truth about humanity's transformation from prey to predator. You're telling us, said the Vorthon representative, his massive armored form shaking with rage, that this primitive species has been preparing to invade the galaxy? Not preparing, Velthar corrected. Already invading. Human ships have been detected in 47 star systems in the past month alone. They're not just exploring, they're claiming territory. Commander Zixthala's 6 arms moved in patterns of deep distress. How is this possible? They were barely spacefaring when we first encountered them. Because we taught them, Velthar replied bitterly. Every fleet we sent gave them new technology to study. Every battle taught them our weaknesses. Every victory made them stronger. We created our own greatest enemy. The crystalline beings from Nexar Prime chimed in harmonics of fear. Elder Morthak's telepathic voice carried panic to everyone in the chamber. They have our dimensional technology, our weapons, our military knowledge. They know everything about us. And we know almost nothing about them, added the Kethmore representative, its biomechanical parts writhing with anxiety. They've been studying us for 50 years while we ignored them as primitives. The debate was interrupted by alarms throughout the chamber. The Council's long-range sensors had detected something that made every alien present freeze with terror. A fleet of ships was approaching the Council station, moving at speeds that should have been impossible. Incoming vessels, announced the station's computer. Configuration unknown. Technology signatures match no known civilization. It's them, Velthar said quietly. The humans are here. On the main display, 12 ships appeared that looked like nothing any alien had ever seen. They combined the sleek lines of Vorthon design with the crystalline structures of Nexari technology. Biomechanical components from Kethmore ships pulsed along their hulls. Energy matrices from plasma prime vessels glowed with contained power. The geometric perfection of Axis collective engineering was visible in their weapon arrays. Zephyrian psionic amplifiers created shimmering fields around each vessel, and temporal distortions from Chrono Syndicate technology made the ships flicker in and out of normal space. They've integrated everything, whispered Dr. Linessa, who was monitoring the approach from Velthar's ship. All 7 alien technologies in perfect harmony. The lead ship opened a communication channel. The voice that came through was calm, professional, and absolutely terrifying in its confidence. This is Admiral Jake Morrison of the Earth Expeditionary Force. We request permission to address the Galactic Council. The chamber erupted in panicked discussions. Some species demanded that the station's defenses be activated. Others argued for immediate evacuation. A few suggested surrendering before the humans decided to attack. We can't fight them, the Axis Collective representative stated with mechanical certainty. Their ships incorporate the best features of every major military technology in the galaxy. They have combat experience against all of our weapon systems. Then what do you suggest? Asked Zixthala. "We listen," said Velthar, "and we hope they're feeling merciful." The council voted to allow the human ships to dock. As the aliens watched in fascination and terror, 12 vessels that represented the evolution of galactic warfare settled into the station's docking bays with perfect precision. An hour later, Admiral Morrison entered the council chamber flanked by representatives from every major Earth nation and military branch. The humans wore simple uniforms that somehow managed to look more intimidating than the most elaborate alien armor. They moved with the confidence of people who had never lost a war. Ambassador Helen Carter stepped forward to address the assembly. She was a middle-aged woman with gray hair and steady eyes that had seen humanity survive impossible odds. "Honored council members," she began, her voice carrying clearly through the translation systems. "Earth greets you in peace. We come not as supplicants seeking membership, but as equals demanding recognition." The chamber was silent except for the nervous sounds of alien breathing, chittering and mechanical humming. "We know you've been watching us," Carter continued. "We know about the investigation fleet that spent weeks studying our activities. We know about your debates regarding our fate. We even know about the plans some of you have made to destroy our world before we become too powerful." Several aliens shifted uncomfortably. The humans' intelligence network was apparently even better than they had feared. "We're here to make our position clear," Carter said. "Earth has learned that the galaxy is a dangerous place. 7 different civilizations have tried to conquer us. Each attack taught us that only the strong survive among the stars." Admiral Morrison stepped forward. "We don't want war with any species represented here, but we will not tolerate any further attempts to invade our space or threaten our people. Any fleet that approaches Earth with hostile intent will be destroyed." "And what if we refuse to recognize your claims?" asked the Vorthan representative, though his voice lacked its usual arrogance. "Then you'll discover what happened to the 7 fleets that came before you," Morrison replied calmly. "But this time we won't wait for you to attack first." The implications were clear and terrifying. Humanity was no longer reactive. They were prepared to strike first against any perceived threat. "However," Carter added, "we're not here just to issue threats. We're also here to offer alliances. Any species willing to coexist peacefully with humanity will find us to be valuable partners. We have technology, resources, and military protection to offer." "And if we choose neither alliance nor hostility?" asked Elder Morthak. "Then you'll be left alone," Carter assured him. "We have no interest in conquering species that pose no threat to us. We're not interested in empire for its own sake." The debate that followed lasted for hours. Some species immediately requested alliance treaties with humanity. Others maintained fearful neutrality. A few made it clear they would never accept human expansion into their space. "The galaxy is changing," Carter said as the session neared its end. "Humanity is no longer an isolated species on the edge of known space. We are a galactic power with interests and responsibilities throughout this region of the universe." She gestured to Admiral Morrison and his officers. "These are veterans of the most advanced warfare in galactic history. They've defeated every major military technology known to this council. They've learned from every battle and grown stronger from every victory. What you need to understand," Morrison added, "is that this is just the beginning. Our scouts have detected energy signatures from beyond the galactic rim. More alien species are coming, drawn by the conflicts in our region of space." The chamber filled with alarmed chatter. New aliens from outside the galaxy represented unknown threats to everyone. "When they arrive," Morrison continued, "they'll find a galaxy that's no longer divided into dozens of competing civilizations. They'll find a galaxy where humanity and its allies stand ready to defend our common interests." As the human delegation prepared to leave, Colonel Ben Parker of the Deep Space Monitoring Station sent a priority message to Admiral Morrison's communicator. The Admiral read it quickly, then looked up at the assembled aliens with a grim expression. "The new aliens I mentioned? They're already here. Long-range sensors have detected a massive fleet entering our galaxy from the void between star systems. Ships using technology we've never seen before." The chamber erupted in panic as the implications sank in. An unknown alien force was approaching, and the only military power capable of stopping them was the species that had terrified the galaxy into submission. "Earth Defense Command is mobilizing our fleets," Morrison announced. "Any species that wants to stand with us against this new threat is welcome. Any species that wants to face them alone is free to try." As the humans departed for their ships, the Galactic Council was left to face a new reality. The age of small conflicts between neighboring civilizations was over. The galaxy now faced threats that required unity, cooperation, and the military might that only humanity possessed. Elder Morthak's telepathic voice reached every member of the council as they watched the human ships disappear into hyperspace. We spent 50 years trying to conquer them. Now we need them to save us all. In the depths of space, Admiral Morrison stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching sensors track the approaching alien fleet. Behind him, the combined military might of humanity spread across dozens of star systems, ready for whatever came next. "Sir," reported Captain Parker from his monitoring station, "the new aliens will reach the outer rim of our galaxy in 6 months. Their technology appears to be even more advanced than anything we've faced before." Morrison smiled grimly as he studied the tactical displays. "Then they're about to learn the same lesson 7 other civilizations learned. Nobody conquers Earth." He activated the fleet communication system, sending his words to human ships throughout known space. "All commands, this is Admiral Morrison. Prepare for contact with hostile alien forces. Remember your training. Remember your victories. And remember that humanity has